Ah, well, well, well. Oh, well, well. Waking up after a Bears loss, it's just like I'm numb to the pain, right? Yes, I'm numb. I'm very numb to the pain because it's not like I haven't been experiencing this for the last 2, 3 years. Good God, man. Yes, if you're wondering, I did do a game recap. It was a live stream. I don't know if I'm gonna go live again. I don't know if I like that, going live stream and then stuff like that. But I think what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna keep sticking to my pre-recorded videos and just probably upload my game recaps as a premiere video on my YouTube channel because technically that's somewhat live compared to really truly live, but regardless, the topic of this Bears video after the Chicago Bears epically lost to the Los Angeles Rams again is the fact that, well, guess what? This team is in some deep problems or in some deep shit. They have some major problems. And I don't think it's going to get fixed anytime soon. You can say, listen, you can say I'm a fair weather Chicago Bear fan. I don't care. Watching that entire game leads me to believe that there is no chance in hell that this team is going to make the playoffs. This team having more than 5 wins with the performance they gave last night, that's not going to happen. So if you watch my Chicago Bears season preview video, I stated in that video that I have the Bears going 3-14 this year. So far, the way they keep playing like they played last night, I'm going to tell you one thing: they're going to get 3-14, all right. I don't. Well, honestly, what do I know? If they're going to play like that tomorrow, like they did last night, I don't think they're going to win a game. They might be they might actually go 0-16. No, not 0-16, 0-17 if they can't win a game like that. If they can't win simple games. And if they can't beat teams like that, they can't beat even the bad teams. My God. 0-17, here we come then, huh? Trust me, if we go 0-17, I guarantee you Matt Nagy gets his ass fired along with Ryan Pace. But listen, guys, listen, I predicted this happening. I predicted this. And there's been some Bear fans out there on the social media saying Bear fans who are ripping on, the Bears and the fact that they're not going to cheer on Andy Dalton. They're not going to cheer on the team and they're hoping the team does bad. They're not true fans. They're just They're just whack guys who aren't fans. Listen, I want the Bears to do good, but I'm going to call it how I see. Well, I know when my team sucks, and my team sucks. And I've been saying the Chicago Bears suck since literally last year. I've been saying after 2019 season, I'm like, this team's no good. This team sucks. This team is mediocre. It's terrible. Even with the fact that we got Justin Fields now, we still somehow are the worst organization in the league. Yeah, I said it. We are the worst organization in the league. As of today, the Chicago Bears are the worst organization in the league. You want to know why? They got ineptitude at the ownership. The McCaskies are just, the McCaskies, and they're ignorant, fucks. You got Ryan Pace. He's an ignorant asshole and an ignorant idiot who doesn't know what the hell he's doing. Half the time, he's in his freaking basement crying his eyes out because guess what? He doesn't want to come out to the media and face the fire. He's a person that put us in salary cap hell. He's the person that's going to make us regret everything because guess what? He doesn't know what to do. He doesn't know what to sign people. He doesn't know how to freaking sign people to certain contracts, and he doesn't know how to freaking pay people. If you didn't know, Allen Robinson's agent, Brandon, hold up. Let me find it. Brandon something. It was Brandon Parker, the agent for Allen Robinson, quote unquote tweeted 16 games left. If that isn't an indictment saying that Allen Robinson is gone, I don't know what that says. So guess what? We just lost Allen Robinson. His agent's already tweeted out 16 games. You know, when the season's over, the Allen Robinson and Brandon Parker ain't gonna do no more business with the Chicago Bears because guess what? You disrespected us. We're gonna go take our talents somewhere else. We're gonna go take our talents where somebody will appreciate us and actually want to. So that's another indictment on Ryan Pace. He put us in salary cap hell. He's not signing players to extensions that should be signing players to extension. He wants to overpay for washed up trash ass quarterbacks like Andy Dalton. He wants to freaking overpay for Robert Quinn. He wants to extend Tariq Cohen, who isn't even playing. He's still hurt. He's still on IR. I thought ACL injuries take 6 to 9 months to heal. I think it's been 6 to 9 months already. Why is he not on the field? Waste of money. But you don't want to sit. You want to sit up here and not pay Allen Robinson big time bucks. But you want to pay freaking Robert Quinn and Tariq Cohen, 2 guys who haven't done shit. You overpay half the AG. Half the defense is overpaid, and guess what? They're not doing their damn jobs. The next guy in this list of ineptitude, the problem that is the Chicago Bears, Matt Nagy. What the hell was that? Another reason. If we're going to give an offense performance like that, my God, you might as well just start Justin Fields. Good heavens. At least he would move the ball and actually throw the ball down the field more than, past the sticks, past freaking 20-plus yards. It's been 4, I don't even know. It's been 4 or 5 years. And this offense still does not have an absolute identity. We don't know if we want to run this. We don't know if we want to be a freaking passing team. We don't know if we want to be a power running team. We just don't know. This team has no identity. It also doesn't hurt. It also hurts from the standpoint that we got a quarterback that is average, who we know is going to do anything, who's just going to dink and dunk. And I'm just looking at the game yesterday. I'm like, Justin Fields could have played that entire game last night and could have did the exact same thing as Andy Dalton. Dink and dunk. But guess what? I'll tell you one thing. The freaking Los Angeles Rams would have respected Justin Fields a lot more than Andy Dalton, literally. They literally left the middle of the field wide open. They're like, okay, we'll just take these dink and dunk passes they're going to give us. So, hey, he's not going to beat us over the top. I guarantee you the Rams defense changes if Justin Fields is playing. I guarantee you. So Matt Nagy's ineptitude of play calling, which he's still terrible at, and he's the worst play caller in the game today. I don't know what the hell he's thinking. He play calls games that I scratch my head. For example, he did not have a play call or a pass wasn't thrown where it was past 20 fucking yards. You can't throw the ball past 20 yards? I don't care. The offensive line, even though Peters went down and then Bourne went down after him, and we're still questioning the offensive line. The offensive line actually, if you watch that game from start to finish, they played a pretty solid game. They played a B-. I would give them a B-. They played solid. It was nice. It wasn't great, but it was nice. It was a nice effort. For that defensive line, they deserve a B, at least a B-. And that's me being generous. But honestly, I'm being honest, they deserve a B. Because the offensive line was like the least of our concerns. You had your running back go over 100 yards rushing. That's good. That means your offensive line is getting a push. Offensive line kept your quarterback upright. He only went down 2 times. And most of the reasons why Andy Dalton ended up getting sacked is, well, guess what? Because he held the ball on too damn long. And you're telling me if Justin Fields plays in that game with the way the offensive line played, I think we win. I think the offense scores more than 14 points. I'll tell you that. I think Justin Fields threatens the ball deep more than Andy Dalton ever would. You have these stupid play calls that don't push a defense, that don't threaten a defense with a D where essentially defense like, okay, we're just gonna keep it honest and we're just not gonna let you beat us deep, essentially. We'll just take you checking down the ball. And if you're gonna throw hitches and curls and 3-yard slant routes and everything, fine. You're not gonna win anything. You're just wasting time and you're not doing anything. So Matt Nagy's play calling is ineptitude. Hand the play calling duties back to Bill Lazor. That's another guy. That's the main guy. The problem. That's the main. There's other factors, but honestly, right now, in terms of problems with the Bears, the main problem is Matt Nagy. Matt Nagy. He is literally Adam Gase 2.0. He's Adam Gase 2.0. That's what Matt Nagy is. He's a glorified so-called offensive genius, just like Adam Gase was. And lo and behold, guess what? He's just as bad as Adam Gase, if not worse. Now, that's a debatable statement, but I think, honest to God, he might be actually worse than Adam Gase. And I'm not saying I would take Adam Gase. God, no. But holy shit, dude. This guy is literally Adam Gase 2.0. I can't wait for this guy to finally be fired and let go of his damn job because I'm sick and tired of Matt Nagy. You're literally having Bear fans saying this era of Bears fans this era of Bears football right now where we're at reminds them of the Mark Trestman era. That was something we needed desperately to get away from. And somehow this organization got back to levels of Mark Trestman bad. You know it's wrong when it's Mark Trestman levels of bad. All it's going to take next is the entire team losing faith out of Nagy. And I need players on this team to do that faster. So then the management, so the organization realize our players don't like this guy. See, this is the thing with Matt Nagy before I continue on. Matt Nagy, I think, in my opinion, is a good rah-rah guy. I think he's a good rah-rah head coach. Sometimes there's head coaches out there that are not good with the X's and O's. They know a little about the X's and O's, but they can't do the X's and O's, 100%. They're not a complete master at it. And they're more better as a raw speech guy, as getting the team ready, getting the team pumped up, getting excited to play. But honestly, the past 2 seasons, I don't think Matt Nagy is like that. I think Matt Nagy is just a good guy. I think he's just a guy. I think Matt Nagy is just a guy who's put in a head coach job, who's too much way in over his head, and he doesn't know what he's doing. He doesn't know the X's and O's of footballs. He doesn't have his guys prepared to play the game of football. And he doesn't teach the fundamentals of football. And then 4, he literally gives off a persona like he doesn't give a fuck. He literally does. You watch that press conference. He's laughing it up. He's just sitting back and enjoying himself. And he's like, well, yeah, it didn't happen. I'm just going to talk over to that side of the ball and, for defense and Sean, and we're going to get things figured out. And then, by week 2, we're going to get this all figured out. Your typical BS forced narrative speech that he gives the media every freaking time that Bear fans and Chicago media are sick and tired of. If he really was that type of dude who actually gave a fuck, he would actually be coming in and say, listen, I'm keeping my press conference short, but tonight's performance was embarrassing. And guess what? I'm in over my head. I don't know what I'm doing. So I'm going to, work with the team collectively, and we're going to find some ways to try to make this work. Listen, at this point, if Matt Nagy just admits to the world in the media, in his press conference, that he doesn't know what he's doing, and he's completely lost, I'll take it. Because guess what? You finally admit that you don't know what you're doing. You admit that you don't learn. And yes, you can say, well, you can't say that in a press conference to the media because that's going to be put on national headlines. if you say that. Yeah, but I think it's honestly at this point in time better enough that you just say you're lost and you don't know what you're doing and you don't know how you're going to handle this situation. It's better to say that because guess what? You know what? You're admitting to your mistakes. You're admitting that you're wrong. And who knows? Maybe more people will actually side with you if you actually just admit your transgression and say, you know what? This is not me. Honestly, I'd be fine if he just steps down right now and just admits like this wasn't for me. I was way too much in over my head as a head coach. I'm just gonna, step down and reevaluate where I stand as a coach. Matt Nagy is a type of coach that is probably a positions coach. He's probably a quarterback coach. He's not an offensive coordinator. He's probably a position coach. In other words, he does a better job at teaching an individual position than a whole phase of the game of football. I'm done with Matt Nagy. I'm done. His play calling is absolutely terrible. His ineptitude to realize that Justin Fields makes his offense go compared to, Andy Dalton. I'm done. I'm just done. I'm done. I'm done with Matt Nagy. I'm essentially counting the days till Matt Nagy's finally gone and fired. The only question is, was Ryan Pace going to go with him? And two, if that's the case, is the McCaskey's going to hire a competent GM that knows what he's doing? He's a football-minded GM, and will that GM also bring in a quality coach that knows what he's doing, that actually knows that he's not in over his head. He knows the sport of football. He knows how to scheme guys and put guys in position that make them better, put them in position to win. Who knows? We're talking about Allen Robinson leaving. Maybe if the Bears just fired Ryan Pace and Matt Nagy, it might make Allen Robinson change his mind to leave and be like, let me see how this plays out. Andy Dalton. Yeah. Okay, he was efficient last night. Fine. Yeah. What? He's efficient in dinking and dunking. He didn't pass the ball past 20 yards. Oh, please. Oh, please. And then go into the scheme of the offense. Again, when it just revolves around Matt Nagy. What the hell is the scheme? One of the most travesties was just going for it on fourth down over and over and over and over again. You were like 0 for 4. It was a 4th and 15, which was essentially the nail in the coffin. Instead of kicking the field goal, I don't care. Kick the field goal. Even if you're still down 3 scores. Kick the damn field goal. You go for it on 4th and 15, and for some reason, Andy Dalton throws the ball, and I don't care, the ball's incomplete. You see where the ball placement was? It was behind the sticks. So this playbook clearly is, we're going to stay behind the sticks, and we're not going to get first downs. I don't care if the offensive line isn't good enough. What the actual hell, man? What the actual hell? It's stupid. Andy Dalton, what did he do that Justin Fields couldn't do? Andy Dalton ran a few times. He scrambled. Justin Fields can do that. Andy Dalton completed 5-yard hitches and 5-yard curls and 3-yard slants. Justin Fields could do that. Andy Dalton threw an interception. Justin Fields could have done that. Andy Dalton takes sacks and holds onto the ball too long. Justin Fields would have done that too, probably. Andy Dalton misses Cole Kmet in the middle of the field on a 4th down, but forces it to a covered Allen Robinson. Justin Fields could have probably done that as well. You see what I'm trying to say here, ladies and gentlemen? Everything Andy Dalton did in that game, Justin Fields could have did or would have done more than likely. And guess what? The thing is, I know Justin Fields would have done even better and would have done even more. He would have threatened the field. He would have threatened the Rams to say, I'm going to beat you with my arm, and I'm going to push you guys down the field. About to take a few shots, I'm going to take a few shots. And that's the thing. Why is there not a route where it's just a shot? It's just a shot. You don't have Darnell Mooney in the freaking slot position, and you run him up the seam. You don't have Allen Robinson running a fucking post. Like, seriously, what is this offensive scheme? And I said it last night in my live stream, with the way, Montgomery played. Just think of Montgomery and Justin Fields in the backfield together. You can do so many things. Read option, you can totally fool some defenses, especially with the fact that David Montgomery is a tough guy to tackle. My God, you can do so much out of that. Play action. Oh, this offense literally, the playbook for this offense literally opens up by just having Justin Fields start. And you having an ineptitude of a coach not to do that. Positives I took away from the game last night, again, were David Montgomery, Justin Fields, with what we got of him. Cole Kmet looked fine. I still think I need him to be a little bit more aggressive because there was times he could have trucked guys and he just didn't. He should have. Like, there was one time he could have trucked easily Jalen Ramsey. I know Jalen Ramsey's a big dude and he's a strong dude, but Cole Kmet can truck that guy. He can truck that guy. If I was that big, I'm lowering my shoulder and I'm kicking freaking Jalen Ramsey's ass. And then, the next growing problem on the team, which makes this team even worse than it already is, and which makes me so much skeptical of the fact that, well, guess what? If this phase of the team is going to be stinking up the joint, well, then we're really fucked. The Chicago Bears really are screwed this season. And that's the defense. The defense was terrible. Two busting coverages to Van Joseph and Cooper Kupp. You have Eddie Jackson, pathetic ass Eddie Jackson, new number, same player. Can't fucking tackle. Cooper Kupp catches a nice little freaking screen pass. Eddie Jackson's there. Doesn't chop his feet and make an effective tackle. He just lets Cooper Kupp go right by him like he doesn't want to make contact. I'm gonna ask this question. I don't know. Eddie Jackson may not be watching or anything, and hey, if he was watching, trust and believe. I would like to talk to him in his face. Trust me. Come. I'll fly out to Chicago. If you pay me a ticket, I'll come out to Chicago. I'll come out to Halas Hall, and I'll get up in your face, and I'll tell you everything I'm saying right now. I'll literally say this: is Eddie Jackson a bitch? Is Eddie Jackson a bitch? Is that because that's what I'm saying? He's afraid of contract. Is he afraid of contact? Is he afraid of contact? Is he afraid? I would literally ask that question to Eddie Jackson. And if Eddie Jackson's watching this, hey, give me a ticket to Chicago. Take me up to your training facility. I'll go up there and I'll say it to your face. I'm not afraid. I'm not going to be this. I'll talk shit on that entire Chicago Bears team if I'll go up in there. I'll call Matt Nagy's ass. I'll call Ryan Pace. I'll be like, where's the McCaskies? I'll call them all out. I won't be respectful. I don't care if I go to jail. I'll call them all out. He afraid of contact? That's what I'm saying. So, because it seems like Eddie Jackson's a bitch. Eddie Jackson fails to touch a player, Van Joseph, after he catches the ball. In college, if a player trips and falls and hits the ground after catching the ball, that's down. That's down. You don't need to touch it. In the NFL, you need to touch them because if they get up, they're not down. And that's what Eddie Jackson to Sean Gibson didn't do. No reason, no why. I don't understand why they didn't do it. Don't know why they didn't touch it. That ends up being a touchdown. Great start. After they picked, that happened. Then, the third quarter opens up. They literally play what I believe the Bears play a cover two. If you know football, you know what a cover two zone is. A cover two zone is essentially where the corners play the flats. The linebackers essentially have middle of the field area. And safeties have deep zone, which means anything that is past anything essentially deep, 15 plus 20 yards plus deep, safeties cover that. And Tashawn Gibson and Eddie Jackson literally fell asleep and let Cooper Kupp literally run up the middle of the field right past them and scores an easy gimme touchdown. Like, they weren't even paying attention. And they were like literally, Tashawn Gibson and frickin' Eddie Jackson were either picking their noses or scratching out something, earwax in their ears. And they're like, oh yeah, I totally forgot about that. Sorry. Don't ask me why Sean Desai or any of the other defensive coaches were not getting up in the Chicago Bears DB's faces like Jeff Okuda for the Lions was getting shoot out by his head coach. Oh, I know you saw that. It's come to think of it. I said in my freaking my season preview that this Bears backfield, this Bears secondary is going to get carved up. I thought Jalen Johnson was the only DB in that backfield that held his own very well. Everybody else got picked apart. Marquis Christian, he got fucking picked apart like it was no tomorrow. The safeties, they got absolutely picked apart. The opposite corner, which I believe was Kendall Vildor, he got absolutely picked apart. This is against the Rams. We play the Bengals next week. They got T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. I think Joe Burrow likes his chances. Watching film on the Bears, he's going to be like, I'm going to pick these guys apart like it's no tomorrow. The secondary is garbage. It's absolutely garbage. So they're going to have to rebuild the secondary all over again. They're going to have to get 2 new safeties and a new corner opposite of Jalen Johnson. Jalen Johnson seems to hold his own, so he seems like he's looking promising. Linebackers. Roquan looked great. Another good player that played good yesterday. So your good player. So the players that played good were Fields, Montgomery, Kmet, Roquan, and Johnson. What do all 5 of those players have in common? They're all young players that the Bears drafted who have potential and who have promise and look good. All young. What does it say about the other veteran players? They ain't holding up their jobs. They ain't doing their jobs. Alec Ogletree. Did he do anything? No. One thing Alec Ogletree did was, guess what? Personal foul. And guess what? Personal foul, that's a reflection of the coaching staff. Penalties are a reflection of the coaching staff because guess what? You don't coach these guys up. You don't penalize them. And this team, guess what? I hear it all the time. I think TTL says it. It's politics over, it's politics over preference or something like that. Essentially, what they mean is they rather just have, names, be out there and play than what really is the right thing to do. Politics over preference. I think I might take that. Well, I like that. Politics over preference. Because this organization is run like a team that rather just mess around and dick around and do all this crappy stuff instead of actually fix the needs it actually needs. If I was out there as like one of the coaches, I'm literally going up to Sean Desai and I'm telling Sean Desai, listen, dude, bench Eddie Jackson right now. Until he wants to go out there and tackle and hit, I don't care if he ends up being disgruntled. I don't care. That's the problem. They don't want these players to be disgruntled, so they're letting the players do whatever they want. It's like I said, the inmates cannot run the asylum. That's why you have guys like Alec Ogletree causing personal foul, unsportsmanlike conduct. Akeem Hicks, again, roughing the passer. Dude. Coming in about the front 7, mostly the defensive line. I have a Khalil Mack jersey. I like Khalil Mack. I liked when we traded for him. But I'm going to be honest, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to be honest, Bears fans. I'm done. I'm tired of Khalil Mack. What has he done in the past 3 years that made me think this was the Khalil Mack we traded for, and we got that Khalil Mack in 2018? We need to start calling out. We're talking about calling out Matt Nagy and stuff like that. Let's call out how we can call them out too, but let's call out Khalil Mack. He hasn't done anything substantial. He only had 1 tackle last night. That doesn't sound like a good stat line for somebody that's getting paid damn near $20 million plus. That's not a guy you freaking pay on the defense. He isn't doing anything. He's talking like he's going to be defensive player of the year and we need to freaking, take our game to the next level. Oh, really, Khalil Mack? Because you're not doing it. You're not finding ways to get to the quarterback and do what you're paid to do, and that's sack the quarterback. The guy opposite of him, Robert Quinn. I think it's a done deal. One game in, I'm already sick and tired of Robert Quinn already in this season. And guess what? We are wasting money, just like we're wasting money by having Nick Foles literally sit in street clothes doing nothing. And he's getting paid 20 plus mil as well, just to be a third string quarterback. What type of team plays 20 plus mil for a third string quarterback? I hope somebody trades for Nick Foles, but I think nobody's going to do any business with the Chicago Bears because they're like, why will we do any business with that team? That team is terrible. So the Giants are licking their chops. They're going to be like, oh, the Bears traded away their draft pick to get Justin Fields. We're going to get a nice one. We're going to get a nice first-round pick. Robert Quinn looks to be a waste of absolute money. And if the Bears can find any way they can to trade Robert Quinn off this team, I will take it. I'm done with this stupid team. This team thinks it's funny. This team thinks they're having a good time. They think this time is a team that needs to enjoy the moment. No. As a Bear fan, I'm sick and tired of enjoying this so-called moment. I'm sick and tired of the ineptitude. I'm sick and tired of the behoovery of what I'm seeing on my freaking television every damn Sunday. How many times do we have to watch? How many times do Bear fans have to waste their hard-earned cash going to Soldier Field, have to freaking waste 3 hours of their Sunday afternoon or Thursday night or even Monday nights watching this crappy football team not do anything, not progress? 2018 was them progressing. Then after that, this is literally a scale graph. They progressed 2018. This is the highest point they get at 2018. And then they're falling. 2019 comes, 2020, 2021. It's down, and it's continuing to go down. It's not getting better. It's not. They try to keep trying to give this facade like it is going to work. It does not. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done with this team. I'm done. Literally. This team is not going a direction. You see all the young teams, that they weren't good for a substantial amount of time, and they're getting better, and they're actually making progress, and their team is looking to move in the right direction. The Bengals, they were a joke. They got Joe Burrow, and they're going in the right direction, and that team looks like it's getting better. The Miami Dolphins, for years in the 2010s, were garbage, and they were mostly a team that tanked. Look at them. They have a solid to great defense, and they have a decent enough offense, and they've been getting better as the years progress since they got Brian Flores. Because you want to know why? He teaches the fundamentals of football. That's the first thing he does. Right? Matt Nagy doesn't do that. He doesn't teach. He just says, run this how I want you to run it, and that's it. He doesn't teach. He doesn't work with the players. Brian Flores does stuff like that. Coaches of great teams, coaches of good teams, coach their players up, and they show them, this is how you do this. This is how you do it. This is how it needs to be run. It's not, you run it how I say you run it. You take the time and you show them and you walk with them. That's developing them. Matt Nagy doesn't do that because he doesn't believe in development. He's trying to turn the Chicago Bears into Kansas City Chiefs, and they're not the Kansas City Chiefs. They're the Chicago Bears. I said this before. I said this in my live stream. I'm going to say it again. This is going to be a long season if we see more of that performance we did last night. And the Bears don't want to get better? Fine. Don't get better. Because guess what? Bear fans, I need your voices heard at Soldier Field. And that starts next week. Boo them however you can and however you will. For every time an opponent scores a touchdown on the defense, boo them. Every time the offense gets a 3 and out, boo them and chant, "We want Justin." I don't care if it's we chants, "We want Justin" or "Fire Nagy." I don't care. Honestly, I take chance of "Fire Nagy" in Soldier Field more than "We want Justin" because it clearly would show Bear fans are done with this. This is a joke, man. This is a joke. I'm done. I'm sick and tired of this. You know, it's just bad, man. It's just bad. We should be in the positions of the Miami Dolphins, a Cincinnati Bengals, well, mostly Miami Dolphins. We're a team that's progressing. We should have already been to at least one Super Bowl by now, if not at least one NFC Championship game. And we can't even do that because we got so-called boy genius, Matt Nagy, thinking he's the smartest guy in the room. Look at it. Last night he was using Justin Fields as Taysom Hill, as a gadget guy. What are we doing? And guess what? I guarantee he continues to do that. Teams are going to figure out, oh, Justin Fields is just running the ball. And if Matt Nagy's doing that and gets Justin Fields hurt, that's a fireable. No, that isn't a fireable offense. He deserves to be fired. He deserves to be fired. And if we're going to keep doing this whole, Justin Fields gadget guy stuff and Justin Fields gets hurt because of it, Matt Nagy needs to be fired on the spot. And I'm done. I will if that happens, I'm turning my TV off and I'm not watching this fucking team again. So they finally get out of their ass. So I'm done. This team is terrible. This team isn't going anywhere. And this team has many problems that they need to fix. Sean Desai seems like he's an overrated defensive coordinator. So much for getting rid of Chuck Pagano, right? When Sean Desai is no better than him. And he's a supposed Vic Fangio disciple. Vic Fangio had these boys actually playing. Sean Desai doesn't. And how Sean Desai isn't, where was Sean Desai? Where's his press conference? I would like to hear his words on how the defense performed. No, he runs away because he knows he's afraid of facing the fire. I'm telling you, man, sometimes they might need to have fans actually be the people asking the questions to these coaches and players. Because I guarantee you this, if I was a reporter for this team, for the Bears, and I asked Matt Nagy these questions, I'd be asking him tough questions. I'd be like, Matt Nagy, you played Andy Dalton and Justin Fields tonight, and Justin Fields got short spurts. My question is, why couldn't Justin Fields play any part of the game where you use his arm? Because throughout the game, the Rams weren't really threatened by Andy Dalton. And also, too, what are some of the stuff in the game are things that Justin Fields can do that some of the things that Andy Dalton was doing, Justin Fields can do. So why is Justin Fields not starting then? I would ask him the tough questions. I'm done. This team sucks. There's far too many problems, and the Bears organization is trying to hide those problems by beating around the bush and not telling the truth. Fine. You want to play like that? Then I'm going to be one of the few Bear fans out here in the Chicago Bears YouTube community that is going to expose the Bears for who they really are and tell the truth. You're going to get everything from me. I'm not going to freaking BS you around. Listen, this team can easily go 0-4. You want to know why? The Bengals, they beat the freaking Vikings in overtime and played them tough. After seeing that performance, I don't think the Bears could beat the Bengals. The Cleveland Browns, they played the Kansas City team tough. One mistake by their punter dropping the ball to punt it off lost them essentially the game potentially. We don't know what would have happened if he got the punt off. The Browns are a good team, and that's in Cleveland. So they're going to lose that game. So guess what that means? 0-3. And if the Lions are 0-4, 0-3 at the same time like you, I think the Lions are going to get geared up to play because they're like, we need to get a win. We need to win. And hey, what's better than to beat our division rivals? And guess what? In the Lions game, they almost damn near came back against the 49ers. And seeing that defensive performance, if the defense plays like it did against the Rams, they're losing. They're starting the season 0-4. They're starting the season 0-4. We're talking about Justin Fields potentially starting in week 4. They could go 0-4 if this defense doesn't pick its shit up. That's just facts. That's just facts. Like I said, I'm gonna get out of here. 3-14 can't come fast enough. I don't care. I'm gonna be out here making YouTube videos for the Chicago Bears, and I'm going to expose the truth till these guys in the freaking office of Halas Hall are finally excommunicated from their positions and they're done. You can say I'm a fair weather fan. I don't care what you say. I'm just going to let you know I'm a diehard Chicago Bears fan that wants his team to do good. And if you think I'm a fair weather fan, then guess what? Maybe you need to reevaluate yourself when it comes to watching this product of a football team. Because I'll tell you one thing, this product of a football team is not a football team. It's a football team. I said it before. I said it many times on my channel. This organization thinks it's in the 1920s, the 1960s. This isn't the 1960s. This isn't the 18th, 17th century. This is the 21st century. This is 2021 going on 2022. Get with the times and stop playing old ball. Get modern. I'm done. See you guys in the next video. I'll be making a Chicago Bears game recap against the Cincinnati Bengals after that game is over. I don't know if I'm doing a live stream. It'll probably just be a pre-recorded video that will premiere on my channel. So it's somewhat live. But other than that, guys, I know it was a pretty long video, but I'm going to get out of here. I just wanted to air my frustrations out after seeing week 1's performance because that was terrible. And this team isn't getting any better. Anyways, I'm going to get out of here, guys. Hopefully you guys have a great rest of your day. And I'll see you guys for next week's game recap against the Cincinnati Bengals. Till then, guys, bear down, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.